Toby, you have found his trail. Our man came this way. Nothing of interest here. The lever is stuck. Our man came this way. The lever is stuck. Closed. Grease. Good dog, Toby. He left by this door. Locked from the inside. Well done, Toby. You are a true detective. Some ice picks are missing. The door is locked, but we can force it. It would be better not to go down there. Our man must be on the other side of the gate. carriage tracks. Locked from the inside. Toby, don't jump. Let us find another way in. Toby, don't jump. Let us find another way in. Locked from the inside. Toby, don't jump. Let us find another way in. Search, Toby. Search. Here's a good dog. Now I can go down. Aren't you too old for this, Toby?
Safe here. Safe. Whew. Ah!
Don't be afraid.
But
Keep
it's
calm.
you. Stay away.
I want to talk to you. Don't be hysterical. Drop your gun.
I don't trust you. You're out to get me. Don't come any closer.
The poor man. What a dreadful end.
He has definitely gone.
But why was he afraid of you? He was terrified when he saw you.
He must have mistaken me for someone else. Let's go. We have nothing more to do here.
We have been running around all night, Holmes, and I've had enough. And that poor young man. Let's find a police station and...
There's no question of calling the police, is that understood? Instead, let us see how we might continue our investigation.
Very well, Holmes.
No, it is unnecessary. No. Here we are at the famous Westgate Prison, one of the oldest and surest in the kingdom.
I've heard that it is soon going to be demolished. Don't you find it strange that it still houses criminals as dangerous as Hans Schielmann?
There's nothing strange about it, Watson. The name of this prison is linked with numerous failed escape attempts. As long as it stands, the criminals will fear it.
Good morning, gentlemen. Are you expected?
No, but we wish to meet with one of your prisoners, Hans Schielmann.
I'm afraid that at the moment that is impossible. Access to the cells is controlled strictly. You can't go there without permission from the director.
Then would you be so good as to announce us? I am Sherlock Holmes, and this is Dr. Watson.
The famous Holmes and Watson. What an honour. My name is Brighton. Frank Brighton. I'm afraid that I can't announce you. I'm not allowed to leave my post, under any circumstances. But I'm sure that the director won't refuse to see you, even without an appointment. Do you see the corridor behind the reception? Follow it to the secretary's office. You'll find him there.
Thank you, Warden Brighton. One last thing. Hans Schielmann received any visits lately?
None. And I'm sure because I've dealt with receiving visitors for several weeks now. I volunteered because it's a calm post to be in. We don't get many visitors and it gives me time to write. Just like you, Dr. Watson. I enjoy literature and the...
Very good. Thank you.
That was very impolite, Holmes. That man admires our work. You could have given him...
Another time. Let's go and meet the director of the prison. Cleaning materials. Closed. 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 Staff cloakroom.
We must see...
Let us go to the Good morning, miss.
Oh, excuse me, I dropped off. Good morning, gentlemen. What can I do for you?
I am Sherlock Holmes, and this is Dr. Watson. We would like to talk to the director.
I'll just go and see if he can receive you.
Tiredness, pale face, stiffness. I believe that the young lady is expecting a happy event.
It would seem so. This small rack is for urgent letters to be given immediately to the director.
This charming secretary is Miss Jenny Patterson. Hot tea.
The director's office, Mr. P. Patterson. No need to go in there. Strange. The director and the secretary have the same name.
I'm delighted to meet you, Mr. Holmes. I am Paul Patterson, director of this establishment. You wish to talk to me? I hope this unexpected visit isn't to announce bad news.
No, do not worry. We are investigating an affair of the highest importance, one which could potentially affect the security of the kingdom. Therefore, it is imperative that we interview one of your prisoners, Hans Schielmann.
Hans, the rat killer. He's been in here for a long while now, and he's had no contact with the outside. How could he be involved in such an affair?
That is what we would like to find out.
And you have been commissioned by Scotland Yard?
Evidently.
Very well. I have complete confidence in you, Mr. Holmes. I will draw up a pass that you should give to Warden James in the guardroom. He will show you to the cells.
Thank you, Director.
Keep me informed of your progress, and if there is anything else, don't hesitate to let me know.
We shall certainly do so.
Miss Patterson, you have the same name as the director. Are you related?
Come, Watson. Anyone who might have made the slightest study of anthropology would have noted the similarities between the young lady and her father.
Mr. Holmes is right, I am his daughter, but he doesn't like to talk about it. I think he's afraid of being accused of favouritism.
I'm sure it was your qualities alone which secured you this position, miss.
If you must try out your powers of seduction, then what do you say about using them on the rat killer? Goodbye, miss.
Goodbye, gentlemen.
Sorry, sirs. I'm on duty. I can't help you.
Closed. Leads to the high security area, where the most dangerous prisoner... Closed. This is the entrance to the ordinary prisoner's cell. There's no point in going there.
Sorry, but this area is prohibited without a pass. Please leave.
Closed. Closed.
The locker room. This is where the prisoner's things are kept.
Closed. Closed.
Anything?
The director's office.
Sorry, sir.
Ah, you've got a pass for the high security area. It's the door at the end. Go ahead.
Closed.
My name is Peter James, Chief Warden, and this is Deputy Warden O'Sullivan.
I imagine I will find Hans Schielmann behind these bars in the basement.
Yes, the high security cells are down there.
Is this the only access?
Yes, there was a second door at the end of the main hall, but it's been blocked up as a security measure.
Thank you, Chief Warden.
At your service. If you require further information, Warden Mackenzie will help you. He's at his post in the basement.
Mr. Holmes, I am a huge admirer of yours. I have followed all your cases and successes with the greatest interest.
What enthusiasm! Have you ever thought of a career in the police force?
Have I thought about it? It's my dream. And I'm going to try my chance once this establishment closes down. I'm studying hard for the examination to get into police school.
Tell me about the prisoners, Warden James.
We only have a few. As you might be aware, the days of this place are numbered. Therefore, we no longer receive new prisoners. Those who are already here are among the most dangerous in London. We have 3 at the moment. Hans the Rat Killer and the Flint brothers.
The Flint brothers.
Yes, 2 rather simple-minded maniacs who detest one another despite their relation. They massacred their parents and decapitated their neighbours. It took more than 9 policemen to overpower them. See you later, Mr. Holmes.
The guards must spend long hours here. Here's the famous high-security area.
Warden Mackenzie, at your service, sir.
Good morning, Warden. I have a pass which allows me to speak with prisoner Hans.
Very well. It is the cell at the end to your left. I'd advise you to walk in the middle of the corridor.
Hans Schielmann, I require some information from you.
So, who do we have here? The celebrated Sherlock Holmes himself. Do you know that for all the time I have spent rotting in here, you are my first and only visitor? I think this is cause for celebration, a confrontation between 2 geniuses, 2 extraordinary minds.
I am afraid that you are not quite as great a chemist as you believe you are, Mr. Schielmann. I will not say that you never were. No, It was certainly true once. But you see, while you are whiling away your days in here, it appears that someone on the outside is at the point of surpassing you, if that is not already the case.
Yes, I heard about that. A chemical poison that eats away at the flesh and provokes hysteria. I recognize talent when I see it, but it's only a matter of time before I win back my laurels, believe me.
What can you tell me?
That depends on what you can bring to me.
What do you want?
Do you know why I am treated so harshly? For my meals, I am given nothing but a hunk of bread, and even then, not just any sort.
Get to the point.
Never interrupt me! Where was I? Oh, yes, the bread. Did you know that with a little rye yeast, a pinch of moss, certain cockroach secretions, just enough light and damp, with a few other ingredients that I will keep quiet about, I succeeded in poisoning half the staff here? Unfortunately, a little something was omitted, which would have made the results fatal. Instead, it merely caused acute attacks of stress and powerful hallucinations. Even so, I got a great laugh out of watching them cry like babies when they saw their most primitive fears materializing before them.
You are a monster, Mr. Shielman.
Thank you.
It wasn't a compliment.
But of course it was! You others, you ordinary, narrow-minded people, you are afraid of anything that you cannot comprehend. You call me a monster because what you find impossible to face is just the slightest fraction of my genius. If by monster you mean someone who is nothing like you, then it is a compliment.
What do you need?
Very little. Just something to write with. You see, my brain races like an engine with too many thoughts. I see them crackle and explode into thousands of formulae right in front of me. What a torture not to be able to write them down. What a hell to see them vanish just as quickly as they appear to me. Just bring me something that I can write with.
That's all. That seems an easy enough request to fulfill.
But listen, I don't want a vulgar inkwell and a pigeon's feather. No, I need material fit for my talent. I want my ink pen. Bring it to me, and I will be happy to pass on to you a little of my knowledge of modern chemistry.
Where is it?
It was confiscated upon my arrival here. I suppose it might be in my locker, in the locker room. Leave me now, and don't come back without my ink pen. See you soon, Mr. Holmes.
What?
I'm glad to have been of...
Can you tell me where I might find the locker room?
In the corridor that leads to the director's office. That's where the prisoners' civilian stuff is held. But seeing the length of their sentences, they've little chance of ever getting it back.
Can you open the locker room for us? We would like to inspect Shielman's personal items.
No, Mr. Holmes. I'm not responsible for that. You will find the keys in the secretary's office.
See you later, Mr. Holmes.
Miss, may we borrow the keys to the locker room?
You will need authorization from the director to open that door. If you wait a moment, then I will inform him.
We will wait, thank you.
Anything new, Mr. Holmes? Is your investigation advancing? Mr. Holmes, have you been able to get what you wanted from our lodger?
Not yet. We must first cast light upon a crucial point, and for that we require your help again.
What can I do?
We need to examine Shieldman's civilian clothing.
Very well, but be extremely careful.
What do you mean?
In that madman's compartment, you will find a strange little coded case which refused point blank to open when he was incarcerated. We did try to force it, but without success.
Didn't you ask the experts?
Of course we did. Experts from Scotland Yard came to examine it, but they came to the conclusion that it was better that the case remain shut than tamper with it too much.
I see. They were afraid that some poison or other might escape if it was opened.
Exactly. Bear in mind that this man is an evil genius, a master poisoner, and that his poisons are never ordinary. Here's the key to the locker room. I give you the authorization to open it.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Patterson.
Miss Patterson, the guards are still waiting for you to put up the duty list. Do it as soon as possible. Without it, the changing of the guard cannot take place. Or had you forgotten?
Dry your tears, miss. I'm certain that your father didn't mean to hurt you.
Mr. Watson, I can't put up the duty list, and when he finds out, he'll be furious.
Why can't you?
It's in my locker, in the cloakroom, and I've lost the key.
Your aunt.
Say no more, Holmes. As you keep repeating, time is against us. Let's go and look at the things in the rat killer's locker.
Closed. Closed. Here is the locker of our friend, Hans, the mad scientist.
Oh, what a jumble!
A paper knife. Blotting paper. This solid box must hold a precious object. Let us see. Blotting paper. I can't do that. Nothing of interest here. There is something interesting here. Nothing of interest here. There is something interesting here. Nothing of interest here. There is something interesting here. Nothing of interest here. Nothing of interest here. There is something interesting here. I can't do that. This cannot be a simple coincidence. I can't. Blotting paper. Nothing of interest here. There is something interesting here. There is something interesting here. There is something interesting here. I can't do that. No, it is unnecessary. Blotting paper. Perfect.
What is written on that note, Holmes?
Later, Watson, later. We can give Hans his pen.
But what could I have done with the keys?
Closed.
What a bunch of incompetents. Oh, if I was as unprofessional as that, there would be murderers running all over the town.
What's the matter? Are you a patient of Dr. Watson?
Very amusing.
I was going on about the dry cleaners in Westgate Street. They've just delivered my ceremonial uniform in the middle of my duty, when I've told them 1,000 times not to bring it until after 6 in the evening.
A ceremonial uniform? You've been promoted?
No, and that's not about to happen. No, I've been invited to a wedding. I mean, I hope to be. I'm in trouble. If the director sees that I've left my post, I'll be sacked without pay.
Give it to me, Warden Brighton. I'll take care of it for you.
Really? Thanks a lot. Here's the key to the cloakroom and that of my locker. I'm really grateful, Mr. Holmes.
What have you got in mind, Holmes? You're not doing this out of kindness, are you?
No, out of curiosity. We will be able to access the cloakroom with these keys. Miss Patterson's locker. Miss Patterson's locker. Here is Brighton's locker. Here is Brighton's locker. Closed. Closed. Bicarbonate of soda. Brighton must have an upset stomach, caused by stress without a doubt. The name on the key is Jenny Patterson. That is interesting.
What should we...
We can give... Let us examine Miss Patterson's locker. The lock on this box is rather sophisticated.
Incredible. Is Jenny hiding something? It's really very clever. Little Jenny is astonishing.
A letter from Brighton to Jenny. Barely literate.
Apparently, Jenny is carrying Brighton's child, and it seems that Jenny's father, the director, is unaware of this.
A locket, sealing the relation between Jenny and Warden Brighton. Decidedly, this boy is not a great poet. Here is the famous guard duty list. Interesting. We have found the guard duty cards, miss. If you like, I can go and discreetly give them to the guards.
Oh, thank you. You've got me out of a lot of trouble, Mr. Holmes.
Sorry, sirs.
Sorry, Mr. Holmes, you can't go into the basement for the moment.
For what reason?
The door has locked itself automatically. We must enter a new security code.
Do it, then.
Miss Patterson hasn't put up the guard duty list yet. Without that information, we don't know who's authorised to take note of the new code.
So Mackenzie is locked in the high security zone.
Yes, but don't worry about him. He's trained for this sort of dysfunction.
Why not ask the director to take note of the code and open the door?
He isn't allowed to, and I doubt that he would run the risk of going against the orders of the administration centre. Anyway, the bars in the high security section are joined to the alarm system, which is in that room. We only need to sound it to unblock, but you see we can't do that now.
We'll try to find the duty list, Warden James.
We have found Chief Warden James's duty list.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Let's see. O'Sullivan, it's you who takes over from Mackenzie. Take note of the code, please, and unblock the door.
At once, Chief. Ah, Mr. Holmes, could I ask you for a favour?
Please do.
I think I can say on behalf of all the staff that we would be honoured if you would care to write something in our guest book.
With pleasure, O'Sullivan. You seem worn out, O'Sullivan. A good night's sleep would do you good.
A good night's sleep would do me good. You're right, Mr. Holmes.
Is something worrying you?
As you know, Westgate Prison will soon be demolished, and I'm spending most of my nights studying for my exam to join the police. You understand, I have to think about my future, so sleep isn't a priority at the moment.
Scotland Yard is always looking for young, competent, and motivated men. Would a letter of recommendation from me allow you to get some sleep?
What? A letter from Mr. Sherlock Holmes recommending me for Scotland Yard? Are you quite serious?
Completely serious, my young friend. May I use this writing paper, the one on your desk?
1,000 thanks, Mr. Holmes. 1,000 thanks.
It is addressed to Inspector Baines, a good friend of mine. There's no need to remind you that it must be opened only by the person to whom it is addressed.
Yes, of course. I'll give it to him personally. Thank you again, Mr. Holmes. At your service, Mr. Holmes.
This device must be the alarm.
Warden Mackenzie, at your...
Well,
You have what you wanted, your precious pen.
you seem annoyed, Mr. Holmes. I would even go so far as to say terribly worried.
Why should you care, Mr. Shielman? Let's talk about that poison.
I am not talking about you in the grip of natural emotions found in ordinary people who are confronted by the inexplicable. But as for Mr. Holmes, you are embarrassed, aren't you? Are you hiding something?
That is enough, Shielman.
You have kept your word. Therefore, I will keep mine. At this moment, the poison which so interests you isn't finished yet. Its maker is encountering great difficulties in attaining the desired results.
What is the end result?
Now, Mr. Holmes, the end result of any science, as Descartes once said, to become the master and owner of nature. Here we are talking about human nature, of course. And the creator's problem isn't so much the mixture as the durability of his creation.
What do you mean?
You see, this poison was made using rare but very volatile short-living compounds, which means that it is only possible to produce small quantities, which most importantly do not keep for a long time. Conceiving such a product in a laboratory especially built for the purpose could be achieved by any good chemist. But recopying this alchemy on another scale and keeping it ready at any moment, observing the particular conservation and storing conditions that a substance of this type requires, well, that would need a genius. I doubt if the creator of this mixture would be capable.
And you would be, of course.
Of course.
Luckily, you are going to spend the rest of your life in prison.
Luck is cyclical. It always comes around again, sooner or later. As far as I am concerned, I have the feeling that the cycle is going to be very short.
Holmes, it sounds to me as though this Shielman is implying that an escape attempt will be made.
Yes, we must go and warn the director.
At your...
See you soon, Mr. Holmes.
Warden Mackenzie, at your service, sir.
It is the guard's guest book. It is about the... It is potassium nitrate, isn't it?
Yes. Saltpeter or whatever. See you soon.
Sorry, sirs.
Closed.
At your service.
It is out of the question that your bastard is named Patterson. Very well. You refuse to reveal the father to me? Well, then go and join him. I'm not stopping you.
I can't.
Director, you will have to postpone this small family reunion. We believe that a serious scheme is afoot. We must act without delay.
You're not thinking of...
Yes. Shielman's words leave no room for doubt. It seems that he is planning an escape attempt. We strongly advise you to search his cell.
Do you really believe that he's hiding something? Because I must make an official report and have a legitimate reason for doing a search.
Director, if this prison is still in operation, it is solely because of its reputation. Think of the consequences of an escape. It would be closed at once. And what post do you imagine would be offered to the person deemed responsible?
You're right. No one will escape from Westgate under Patterson. I will order an immediate search of Mr. Shielman's cell.
Chief Warden James reporting. The search of prisoner Hans Shielman's cell has been carried out. No suspicious items were found.
Thank you, Chief James. I feel better now. Without wishing to offend you, Mr. Holmes, I am glad that you were mistaken.
If I'm not mistaken, we've nothing more to do here. Shall we go, Holmes?
There's just one more thing for me to see, Watson.
What's that?
Mr. Holmes, sorry to interrupt you, but Miss Jenny wishes to see you alone. She is waiting for you in her office.
This, Watson.
How did you know?
Wait for me in the guard's room. I won't be long.
What an extraordinary gentleman that Sherlock Holmes is. You must have had lots of adventures with him.
Oh, yes, dozens.
Thought he was infallible, but there wasn't anything out of the way in the rat killer's cell. Could he have been mistaken?
I must admit...
Warden Brighton, in my office immediately. That's an order.
The director seems furious.
Yes. It must be important for him to order Brighton to leave his post.
I wouldn't want to be in his shoes.
Did you hear that?
Yes, that's not normal. I've never heard Flint shout like that.
But why doesn't O'Sullivan sound the alarm?
Follow me, Mackenzie. Let's go and have a look.
I'll come with you.
No, Dr. Watson, you're not allowed in. Wait for me here.
Very well.
Hey, but the grill is blocked, Chief.
We've been locked in. And that smoke, it's coming from below. O'Sullivan! Can you hear us?
Sully, are you alive? Answer us, Sully.
What's going on? Can I help you?
Sound the alarm in the guard's room. That should unblock the door. Be quick. O'Sullivan might be in danger.
Locked. Locked.
Hey, what are you waiting?
It's impossible. It's been damaged. I'll run and warn the director.
No, Doctor. Our priority is to save O'Sullivan. Go ahead through the visitors' corridor and see if he answers your call.
Very well.
Take the keys. They're in our room.
It doesn't.
Useless! This door is blocked by the timer, but not the one below. Give me the keys, quickly! I've got the keys, Doctor. Thank you.
Follow me, Watson. We must repair the alarm.
Finally. There you are, Holmes.
I'm going to turn on the system. Watson, you make sure of the contact.
I hope that this isn't dangerous. It works.
Perfect.
It's open. Let's go down.
Be careful. From what your colleague said, the flints are out.
We are trained for this sort of situation. And we're armed.
Come and help us, Watson.
Everything is back to normal. Thank you for your help, gentlemen.
It was a pleasure.
But where is O'Sullivan?
He's no longer here. He must have gone out through the visitors' entrance.
Yes, and he must be pleased to have gotten out of the basement.
Good. We must now check all the cells. It's the procedure in case of an alarm.
We'll come and help you.
You are evidently fond of wasting time, my dear fellow. Rejoin me at the reception when you've finished.
No. No, I've got nothing to do there. The grate is open. This is alarming. He's fine where he is, under the cover, still.
How can he sleep with all this noise?
I'll admit it's not normal. Perhaps the smoke has poisoned him. I had better take a look.
Be careful, Doctor. He is dangerous.
O'Sullivan!
It's impossible. He was with us only a few moments ago. Or else...
Or else it wasn't O'Sullivan.
My God! He's escaped! The rat killer has escaped!
Ah, Holmes, there you are. Hans has escaped. I fear that this inquiry is a bitter defeat for us.
Not at all, my dear fellow, quite the contrary. Follow me.
Why the devil have you brought me behind the prison?
We have an appointment, Watson. Look who is waiting for us.
Shieldman! I'll go back and alert the guards.
Calm down. He's harmless.
But what is he doing here? Why hasn't he run away?
Because I asked him not to.
Are you telling me that you helped him to escape?
Quite so, as he wouldn't have been able to do so alone.
But how? And why? He's a dangerous madman. Holmes, you've made me an accomplice in this escape. You owe me some explanation.
And you will have them. But my priority for the moment is to remove our new friend to a safe place. I won't be long, but I must go alone. I'll rejoin you later. Just give me your next destination.
Very well. I suppose you know what you're doing.
How could you doubt it? Here, take the notes. They will help you when you write up the account of our visit to Westgate. So, where do I find you?
I think it would be better to go back to Baker Street.
All right. I will join you there.
Oh, so all that for nothing. Oh, they didn't find anything. Sherlock Holmes isn't a nice man, is he? I don't think I like him now.
Look what I found.
Don't do that. We don't like him, but you shouldn't hit him like that.
Give that back. It's only a doll.
This is Sherlock Holmes's attic. All this must have belonged to him. I want to know what happens next. Keep reading.
3 trails and 2 dead ends. The poor nephew is dead, but Baines has the bishop's murderers. The only one left is the rat killer. Have you questioned him?
No.
May I ask when you're going to do it?
When I have found him.
What? You're not trying to tell me that he's escaped again?
Yes, but this time it's not your fault, nor mine for that matter.
You've been using me, Holmes. I unwittingly aided one of the most dangerous criminals in the kingdom to escape. So please tell me why.
An explanation would be futile. It would only lead to further pointless questions.
But do you have even the slightest notion as to where he might be hiding?
Forget Hans Schielmann for the moment, Watson. Just concentrate on the fact that the bishop is on the chessboard.
In any case, the news has spread like wildfire. Look at the headlines. All the papers are talking about it. And the Globe Explorer, their editors must be jumping for joy.
Let the dogs bark with the pack, Watson.
But how could Farley be so well informed? Look, he also mentions our visit to the opium den, and in great detail. How did he know?
Let me see. Contrary to what you might think, Watson, I do not consider that all of our trails have led to dead ends. We're simply missing a common denominator, something that links them together. And our journalist's mystery informer might just be that missing link.
Should we attempt to uncover his identity?
It is essential that we do so. Let us examine the map. We must talk to Mr. Farley. You have been a great help, dear Toby. I'll ask Mrs. Hudson to send you up some fine giblets.
Here we are at Farley's office. One cannot say that ethics play a very large role in his life. Look at the headlines pinned to the walls, like trophies of bad taste. Perhaps we will finally begin to understand the reasons for his persistence in tarnishing your reputation.
Perhaps.
Coffee. It's still hot.
This is an electric box. Interesting. I cannot leave now. Cigarettes. An ordinary, inexpensive brand.
A press card. Osmond Farley. It's his overcoat.
This door is locked. Is Farley afraid of being interrupted suddenly?
I must go out for a while, Miss Jean. I won't be long. Ask my appointments to wait, and send this message as a matter of urgency.
Mr. Osmond Farley, I presume.
Messrs. Holmes and Watson. What a surprise.
What is there so surprising about being visited by the targets of your slander?
I never slander. I inform.
You will have to accept the consequences of these articles, Mr. Farley.
Those words sound like a threat, Mr. Holmes.
I never threaten. I merely warn.
You don't frighten me, Mr. Holmes. I know all of your little secrets, and soon all of London will find out what really hides behind the facade of the impeccable detective. Thanks to my work, the whole world will discover the true Sherlock Holmes. Gentlemen, I don't wish you a good day.
What a bore! Even to the point of refusing to shake our hands.
Which means that we can avoid having to wash them. Did you notice the crumbs on his jacket? He had just finished eating, and his hands will be covered in grease, the same as his mouth.
Slovenly habits. That's quite disgusting, Holmes.
Do not be deceived, Watson. The workmanship in those tailor-made clothes indicate that he is a man who takes pride in his appearance. If Farley has left without brushing off his jacket or washing his hands, then it is because he spotted our approach and wished to avoid us at all costs.
But why?
We will find out by searching his office.
The secretary will stop you. Please reassure me, Holmes, you don't intend upon knocking her out?
Only if we exhaust every other viable alternative.
The secretary is occupied in sending a telegram via their electric telegraph. Farley asked that she should do so before he left.
We must find a way of interrupting the transmission, which will oblige her to go to the telegraph office in Kensington. It will take her some time to get there, and if we add on the time it takes to send the telegram and then return here, we should have ample time to search the office without being disturbed.
I suppose it's unnecessary to point out the illegality of this search?
I'm afraid so. This hanger has a large iron hook. Closed. I need a tool. I can hear an electrical humming. The secretary is using the electricity supplied by this switch. Let us see if I can cause a short circuit. Let us see if I can call... There we are. It is simplicity itself.
Oh, that's just too bad.
Get out quickly, Watson. I'm going to hide here. The way is clear. Let's go, Watson. The ribbon is missing from this machine. A page of this notebook has been torn out. We can only see the title in shorthand and today's date. It's a message that the secretary must send urgently. I'm going to recopy it.
You can read shorthand? You never cease to amaze me. Were you a secretary before becoming the great
Perhaps. But no, a man must have his secrets. A makeup case with a good brush. I must look more attentively. I can make out the marks, but I need something to bring them to light. I must look more attentively. Someone has written something. I must... Someone... I can make out... I must look more attentively. Here is Farley's secretary's telegram. Nothing special here. This armchair is out of place. This paper only just escaped the flames.
But who is this note about? And who wrote it?
I will deal with it later. Someone closed the curtain, as though he wanted to maintain his privacy. This cabinet has a lot of drawers, each marked with a letter. There is surely a great deal of information in them.
But we can't open all of them. We must know what we are looking for.
A bunch of keys, a telephone, a technological marvel. A number was written next to it quite recently. A fine, educated hand.
Holmes, this number seems very familiar.
Yes, but let us dial it to be sure. Miss, get me 1313, please. It is Scotland Yard, of course. I'm beginning to understand.
Lucky you.
Our man left his sandwich unfinished. This ashtray is worth examining. This ash comes from an ordinary, well-known brand of cigarettes. It is still warm. This cigar is of a fine quality. It must be very expensive and difficult to obtain.
And it is not even finished. What a waste.
The cigar end is still hot. Farley was not alone when we arrived at his secretary's office.
You are thinking of the owner of the cigar.
Yes, the reporter smokes ordinary cigarettes. Can you smell the subtle scent of gingerbread? That is the characteristic odour of a Habano Clarissimo. Our mysterious visitor is a rich man, Watson. This category of Havanas is exorbitant, and I cannot imagine a cigar lover crushing out such a marvellous smoke before finishing it. Since we saw no one leaving the building, that must point to a secret exit somewhere.
How are we going to find it?
By retracing Farley's steps from the moment before we arrived. Look, this room is teeming with clues. This book has fallen down from the shelf.
The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. My word! It's my stories about your investigations.
A real investigative reporter must have read them, my dear Watson. My adventures have fallen from this shelf. Someone... The key is still in the lock. This cabinet...
But we can't.
This cabinet has a lot of drawers.
But we...
Judging from all the notes on the board, our reporter is an assiduous and organised worker. A photograph of Prince Woodville. Farley is evidently also interested in this affair. A horrible story, and rather a strange one. Here's what is strange: an attack of collective insanity.
I understand what you want to do.
I can see what has been written. Please write it down.
Very well, Holmes.
I wonder which drawer the secretary was interested in. The DF drawer, of course, the one in the message that we deciphered from the secretary's desk blotter. There are a lot of cards. I must find out which one was consulted last. There are a lot of cards. I must find out which one was consulted last. I can't do that. The secretary has just changed the typewriter ribbon. There are smudges of dark blue ink.
We must finish.
I can't. 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 There are a lot of cards. How to find the right one? I can't. No. No, it is unnecessary. I can't. No. No. I can't. These blue stains come from an old typewriter ribbon. This card has been removed recently. This card has got grease marks on it. The reporter made them. Apparently he's making inquiries about Prince Woodville, too.
But where do you come into all this? Look, if we pull the curtain a little, we can see out into the street.
Farley consulted a card while he ate, which was given to him by his secretary just before she changed the ribbon on her typewriter. The reporter's greasy fingerprints are all over the card. When he went to file it away, he glanced automatically out of the window and saw us in the street.
He closed the filing cabinet and rushed to lock his office door. In his haste, he pushed his chair aside, but didn't think to return it to its place.
Precisely. He then hurried to tell his visitor of our arrival and showed him the way out. He then threw a piece of paper into the fireplace.
But we still don't know how the cigar-smoking visitor departed.
The answer lies in the direction the reporter took, Watson. At a certain moment, he would have been in a place where he had no logical reason to be. Look at our deduction board, and then let us go to the place where the reporter should not be. Perfect. Yes, Watson. In his haste, Farley dropped this book, taking it from the shelf.
Let's search this place.
There's a control box built into the filing cabinet. This box must open the secret door.
We don't know the combination, Holmes.
The answer is perhaps within the question, my dear fellow. That's not right. There we are. It is simplicity itself. Let us go and look at this secret exit, Watson. Chance has smiled upon us, Watson. This hat was almost certainly abandoned by our mysterious visitor. Imagine the scene. In his hurry, the cigar man drops his top hat. The door closes. The hat is caught beneath it. Fearing above all that he should be discovered, he does not attempt to retrieve it, instead preferring to flee.
Who would take such action to avoid meeting us?
I cannot tell as yet, but it is certain that he carries the advantage of knowing us. We must discover his identity in order to redress the balance, and this hat will help us. Let us return to Baker Street.
Let's hope that an examination of this top hat will reveal to us the identity of its owner.
It will, you can be sure of that.
For once, I must insist that you allow me to work alone, Holmes.
As you wish. Take your time. I will examine this hat at my work table. I will examine this hat. This hat is of an exceptional quality. The man who owned it is wealthy. This hat was made to measure by a well-known hatter located near the Old Bailey. His hair is greying, and judging by the odour, he puts camphor on it. He is probably in his early 50s. Heat marks, and a strong smell of tobacco. A cigar smoker, which confirms that this hat belongs to the reporter's visitor. Slight scratch marks. Slight scratch marks. The man wears glasses, and whenever he puts them on, he grazes the sides of his hat. This would suggest that he is educated and long-sighted rather than short-sighted. Someone has changed the ribbon for another, more modern one, which shows a certain taste for current fashions. Not a mistress, but someone who pays attention to details. This man is married. I now have an excellent description of the man that I am looking for. The journalist's mysterious visitor is in a profession highly placed on the social scale. He is rich and married. He must have called Scotland Yard in Farley's presence. He frequents the law courts, from which he makes his purchases. This man is a judge. Let us look through my files to see if I can identify this judge. I have a memoir on the most influential judges. I have found my file. I must place it on my work table. That's not right. Start again. Right. It is him, Judge Beckett.
Have you discovered the top hat's secrets, Holmes?
Watson, this hat belongs to Sir Coots Beckett, a judge of the court at the Palace of Justice in London.
A judge! Wait, did you say Sir Beckett? That name rings a bell. Yes, that's it. What an extraordinary coincidence. Holmes, I was reading something about him in the Globe Explorer only this morning.
Decidedly, this Beckett seems to have solid ties with the gutter press.
I bought it from a rascal who ran off without giving me my change. I'm sure that I've seen him before, and...
Spare me the details, Watson. Show me the article. So, Lady Beckett is on holiday in Portsmouth. That means her husband is at home alone. Good. We shall pay a courtesy call, Watson. With a little luck, we shall leave with a few habanos clarissimo.
That you should interest a judge of the High Court isn't surprising. You have solved so many criminal affairs that there are 1,000 reasons why a magistrate should be interested in you. But why should this one feel the need to act in shadows?
It's true that it's surprising. Perhaps he simply wishes to avoid being seen in the company of this Farley fellow.
Mr. Kirby, our local postman, owes me a favour. He'll give me Beckett's address. At this hour, he should still be at the post office. I'll go there, Holmes.
Good, Watson, but be quick about it. While you're gone, I'll make preparations for our visit.
Sir Coots Beckett. I've got the address. We can go round after a nice cup of tea.
Don't get too comfortable, Watson. We're leaving immediately.
This is the front of Judge Beckett's property. It's enormous. It looks very luxurious, Holmes. This man has conducted his career brilliantly. Who says that crime doesn't pay? It all depends upon for whom.
You never said a truer word, Watson. Now, let's try to find a way in.
What's that package you are carrying, Holmes? You haven't said a word about it all the way here.
Cakes for my old aunt.
Your old aunt? Stop pulling my leg, Holmes.
If you want a sensible answer, then you should ask a sensible question.
Very well. I'm going to ring the doorbell. That should be an appropriate task for someone like me.
No, leave it. I'll do it.
No reply. The house seems empty. Shall we wait, Holmes?
No, we shall enter discreetly. The judge's absence is a blessing. It means that we can investigate without being disturbed.
You're thinking of breaking into the judge's house? Have you gone mad, Holmes?
Don't worry. I shall be careful to remove any traces of our visit.
Listen to yourself, Holmes. You're talking like a common criminal.
This lock should be easy to pick. Let's see. I need a supple pin, Watson. Can you find me one?
Very well, Holmes.
Dr. Watson, how lovely to see you again. Do you remember me?
Of course, Miss Lucy. How could anyone forget so pretty a smile? You are looking quite lovely. I'm pleased to see that you are no longer living within that dreadful area of Whitechapel, even though the shadow of Jack no longer haunts it. It certainly wasn't a place for a young woman such as yourself. Ah, Lucy, you have no idea how heart-lifting it is to meet you here like this, particularly at this time. Tell me what you've been doing. You've become a florist.
Oh, yes, Doctor, I am a florist. And am married now with beautiful little twin girls.
Congratulations, Lucy.
Enough about me. Can I help you with something? A pretty bouquet, perhaps?
Not at the moment, Lucy. I really need a supple metal stem. A plant prop should do.
Oh, I see. Is it to open a door or a window?
Ha-ha, Lucy, you are a surprising lady. Let's just say that the lock on the door to my flat gets stuck, and I should like to get in through the window.
In that case, a prop wouldn't work. Better to use a hair grip. It's the ideal tool for an honest man who wants to get into his house without going in through the door.
You are wonderful, Lucy.
Goodbye, Doctor.
Here you are, Holmes.
Perfect. This lock should be easy. That's not right. Start again. That's not right. Start again. That's not right. Good, we can pass. Here's the kitchen. There's enough room to feed a dozen people in here.
Yes, according to the newspaper, the judge's wife also feeds her pupils, in addition to teaching them.
Cooking oil. There is something interesting here. An oarlock. This isn't the place for it.